Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to do a look using drugstore makeup products. I recently took a trip to Target, one of my favorite places to go shop, and I picked up some drugstore products to create a look. And I also picked up a couple different things, this headband included. It's got one of those like clear anti-slip grips on the inside so it keeps it from sliding out. I also bought this red and white striped tank top. If I can find these two products, I will link them for you as well. Super cozy. I just recently honestly got back home from going out. I took the boys to go get a haircut and I need a little bit of a boost because, well, let me tell you a little story. My youngest, he's 2, and his hair was very long. It was longer than mine. Mine comes to about here. His was a little longer, but it was full on curls and we cut it off. And I'm unwell. So I need to do my makeup, lift my spirits because I feel like I just cut my baby's hair off. He looks so cute and he says he likes his new haircut and he likes his boy cut is what he calls it. So he's happy about it, but I was a mess. I actually cried. His first haircut and I couldn't even believe it. And my oldest also got his haircut because back to school is literally right around the corner, which is insane. So we're gonna play with makeup. We're gonna kind of de-stress and play with some products. And I'm gonna pull a look together for you. And I'm gonna do some products that are affordable and just kind of create a look for you. So if that sounds good, then just continue watching. As always, brows are typically done before I start filming. I usually stick to my go-tos. I will list everything in the description box, nothing new there. And it did take me a little bit more time than I wanted to admit, so we kind of just skipped through that and we're gonna go into primer. Now, I also did not pick up a new primer, but this one has been my go-to, my tried and true since it launched. It has never failed me. It's the Milani Conceal and Perfect Blowout Primer, and I think it's gonna work well with the foundation that I chose to buy at Target. So this one, as you can see, I am almost completely out. I have like about a quarter of it left. It is such a good type of primer for blurring, for smoothing the skin. It comes with a little built-in spatula on the cap, so if you kind of take that out, it looks like that. You just kind of scoop out what you need, and this is typically the amount that I go for. Just about a pearl size, a little bit bigger than a grain of rice, so between a grain of rice and a pearl size amount. And what I like to do is use my fingers and kind of push this in. I start with the most of the primer right in here where I have larger pores, and I will just show you a difference. The only thing I've done is my skincare. I've obviously taken my shower, that's why my hair is kind of wet. And my skincare has been on for maybe 10-15 minutes at this point. So I feel like it's a good time to start applying some product. But I'll just do this one side here and I'll show you the difference. If you haven't seen it, it's a great primer. Something to consider, also something that you can find at Target or honestly any drugstore. If you walk into Ulta, the mass side of it's gonna have this product. If you go into Walgreens, CVS, Walmart, wherever you shop, you will find this primer. And then this is just that one side that we did the primer. You see, there is a difference. It kind of toned down the look of the shininess that I had for my skincare, kind of made the skin look a little bit more blurred and smooth. So I love it. I'm a big fan. I did purchase a new foundation and concealer, and I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, wait, Lexi, I thought you said in a previous video you weren't gonna buy any foundations or concealers to match your new tan skin from the summer. And you'd be right, I did say that. However, I decided, you know, if I'm going to entertain the idea of buying a foundation, then it has to be drugstore to keep it affordable because I'm not gonna spend a lot of money. And I was browsing through the aisles of Target, just taking my sweet time looking around. I happened to go buy the Colourpop selection of products, and this is the Pretty Fresh Tinted Foundation Balm. Now this is, I'm assuming, a fairly new product. I don't know, maybe I missed it, fell through the cracks, but this is something that looks very new to me. I have not seen this before in stores, so did they just kind of launch something and not tell us? Possibly. So looking at the shades, I ended up going with the shade Light 6. Again, I have gotten a lot of color. I am going to continue to get darker. So again, I didn't want to spend a lot of money. So I think Light 6 may just be the right shade. And I'm hoping it says Tinted Foundation Balm, that it's not going to be too slippery. I do live in the South. It is very humid and very, very hot. So the word balm in it kind of, I'm a little apprehensive, but we're gonna use this to create a nice even canvas. I'm not necessarily trying to go full coverage. I just want to even things out and just kind of give my skin a little bit of a boost and then move on to the next new products. And that is the swatch of Light 6. I'll do a couple passes so you can see in case you are curious about this foundation as well. So Light 6 seems like it may still just be a hair lighter, but it is significantly better than what I've got, because my normal skin tone is fair, like one of the lightest fair tones in a foundation range. So that gives you an idea that this tan is pretty dark for me, and I'm just kind of trying to get something that will somewhat kind of balance my face out and the rest of my body. So I'm going to use my damp beauty sponge to kind of move this around a little bit, and maybe I might have to use a brush. Honestly, I feel like that's probably going to be the best. So far that seems to be pretty light. Let's do some stripes on this side here. So I'm going to do this side, and I'm going to use a foundation brush to kind of blend this in. This is a newer brush that you can also pick up at Target. It's from the skincare brand called Burst. And I'm going to use this to kind of push this around. And I think this shade is doable. It's seemingly a little light, right? I don't know if I like it better with the sponge or the brush. So let's do a little bit more. Again, I'm not aiming to do full coverage. I just want to even things out and just have it where my face isn't looking lighter than my body with foundation on, because that's kind of the situation that we're in right now. It's looking like pale ghostly white and then tan. It's not a good look. This is where we're at with the foundation, and I feel like it gave me a very light coverage. It did even things out, but there isn't a ton of coverage. I can still see some of my freckles, some of my little sunspots that are coming to the surface because of the sun exposure. I have freckles over my nose now, and I can still see some of my old acne scarring. So this is something that's very light, but I do like how easy this went on. I prefer it, honestly, using a damp beauty sponge. I feel like the brush didn't do a really good job at moving it around, maybe because this brush isn't super dense. But if you're considering this, this is going to be something that's very light in coverage, light in feel, and it doesn't look super glossy or glowy on the skin, even though it does have the name Balm in it. I don't feel like it's that greasy or oily looking on the skin. Now, as my oils produce, if I happen to go back outside, we'll see how that ends up working out for me. But this is okay. It's not something that completely wowed me and blew me away, but it's not a terrible product. So let's go in with a little bit of concealer. Sticking with what works as far as formulas are concerned, I decided to try a darker shade in a concealer that's never failed me. This is the Eraser Concealer from Maybelline. It's a classic. It's been out for many, many years. I went up to shade number 115 this time around. I think this is going to be a fine match for me right now. I'm going to twist it because I have not used this. I haven't even swatched it to make sure it's going to be the right color for me. I'm just going to make it work. I typically use the fair shade, which is several shades lighter. Yeah, there we are. I'm going to use a little bit of this to conceal and also brighten. I did wake up quite early this morning for those haircut appointments, so I do need a little bit extra. I could not fall asleep really easily last night, which is kind of odd. I think I have just a lot of stuff going on in my mind. Kids are going back to school. You know, we've recently moved. If you're new, we moved into a new house, a new state, and it's just a lot of things going on. Going in with that same beauty sponge. I'm going to use the pointed side of it, though, to blend this in. And then maybe do some down the nose, maybe just a little bit across the center of the face, down the chin. Same sponge, just gonna use that to blend that in as well. If you know, you know, this has been one of my absolute favorite cream bronzers that ever launched at the drugstore. And honestly, I reach for this more than my more expensive ones that are 3-4 times the cost of this product. And this is such a luxurious formula at an affordable price. So this Milani Cheek Kiss cream bronzer is incredible. So the shade that I used to use year round is called Hey Honey, and I absolutely love this color. But I went up to the next shade up, and I actually grabbed the last one on the shelf. So people are catching on to how incredible this formula is. So Hey Honey 110 is the lightest, and I went up to 120. This is the shade called Spilling Tea. So it's a little bit deeper, and I'll show you the comparison. Let me open this one, the new one, and show you a comparison between the two. Shade Hey Honey. And then right next to it is the 120 Spilling Tea. So it's a little bit deeper, a little bit more bronze, a little bit richer in tone. I think it's going to be ideal for me right now, because sometimes these lighter ones that are more geared to fair skin won't really show up and give me a bronze color. It'll look like there's something there, but not that bronzy tone that I'm looking for. So enough blabbling. Let's go in with a brush. And I think I'm going to use one of my go-tos, my Makeup by Mario brush. This is the F4 brush. I'm just gonna pick up some of that product, work it into the back of my hand, and I'm just gonna start bronzing up the skin. And this literally blends itself right into any foundation, any skin tint. It works beautifully over liquid products, creams, and yes, it does blend incredibly well over set foundation and powders. I have never had an issue with this. Looking patchy, skipping, dragging, looking muddy, making me look dirty. It is just an incredible bronzer. If you have not tried this, I feel like you're honestly sleeping on some of the best bronzers that you can get at the drugstore. There is no need to go to Sephora or the high-end side of Ulta and spend a lot of money on a cream bronzer when you could just get this, and this is like 10, 11 at the most that you'll spend on this one product. So it's very affordable. Everything in this video today is super affordable, but these are incredible. I'm going to take what's left on my brush and go around the jawline and also a little bit down the neck. Just make sure I also have that really well blended in through the hairline where I have my headband, and also the sides of the nose, just kind of going a little bit under my eyes, not all the way, but just a little bit to kind of mesh the concealer in with that bronzer. And again, we have not set the concealer yet, so we'll do that in a moment. So this is a great time to take what's left and just kind of mesh those two together. If you know, you know, this powder has been in my rotation since it launched, and it has been literally on my vanity. The only time this product was not on my vanity was when it was in a packing box when I was moving from my old house into this new one. But as soon as I started unpacking, this immediately came onto the top of my vanity with select products that are go-tos. This is an everyday type of product. I don't even reach for some of my high-end ones as much as I reach for this one. This is the Fection powder from L'Oreal. The shade I'm going to use is the brightening pink shade under the eyes. I'm going to use a Sonia Kashuk powder puff that you can also pick up at Target. So if you're shopping for these products, you can also add this to your cart or to your basket. And we're just going to set the under eye area before that concealer creases. And right in through here where I do have a little bit of oil production, I'm going to go over the chin, above the lip, and the center of the forehead where I added a little bit of extra concealer as well. We're going to add a little bit of blush to add some more color and life back into the skin. And this honestly was a no-brainer as well. I love this baked formula from Milani for blush. I think they have such a beautiful range of colors. The baked formula is really special. It sits on the skin so incredibly beautiful. And I love baked formulas. So I chose a shade that I did not already own. This is a shade called Berry Amore number 03. This looks so beautiful. Let me show you this. Look how pretty that looks. So they have kind of like a marbling effect. So this one has some kind of tan tones, some soft berry shades, nothing too intense, but also nothing super light that's not going to show up. I feel like this is just going to give me such a natural, pretty flush to the cheeks. And I'm going to use my Doll 10 powder brush, but I'm going to use the smaller end of it. Pick up some of that, kind of swirl it in the cap, tap off the excess, and apply this to the apples of the cheek and kind of swirl it up into the bronzer. Yeah. And it doesn't ever look dry, powdery, even though it's a powder, because it starts off as a cream and it bakes like you do a batch of cookies in an oven. It's really, really cool. It actually sits beautifully on the skin and kind of meshes with all the layers underneath. So it doesn't look like a layer of powder has been set on top of the skin, and it blends in so nicely that it just looks like it's coming from within your skin. That's the beauty of the baked formula. So if you haven't tried a baked formula, you should. It's really, really great. And it's really hard to mess it up as well. Like if you feel like you can't pull off certain shades, try looking for them in a formula that's kind of baked, because they're just a little bit different. The formulation, the way it's baked, it's just something really special. And then I'm gonna go over the nose as well to create kind of like a faux sunburnt look. And instantly the skin looks perfected. It doesn't look heavy. It's not too much product. That foundation, stick tinted foundation balm, it's such a long name, is pretty lightweight and light in coverage. The concealer is also really lightweight. That powder's phenomenal. The bronzers, everything is just looking really nice and not feeling like I just put a ton of products or all these layers on. So I am loving how we're looking right now. Let's go into some eye products and do something really simple. Keep it basic, keep it easy as well. I'm a lover of shadow sticks, one and done. That's my jam. So I picked a shade of the Lay Shadow Sticks from L'Oreal that I thought I had. And when I looked in my collection, I actually did not have this. I swore I had all the shades. This is number 245 Alluring Rose. And it looks just like a regular high-end shadow stick, but it's a fraction of the cost, and it is honestly better. I said what I said. It's better than Bobbi Brown. It's better than Laura Mercier. This is where it's at. So this is shade number 245. And let me swatch it for you. It's kind of like a beigey pink with a little hint of gray. And on my skin, it's going to look a little bit different than if my skin was lighter or if your skin is a little darker. It's going to look slightly different. So I may pull more gray on you or may pull a little bit more pink. It is called Alluring Rose, so it does have like a little bit of a pink undertone to it. And because I do live in the South, I want to ensure that this is not going to crease on me, even though that's never happened before. The South is so different. So I'm going to use a little bit of eyeshadow primer and then we'll apply the shadow stick. When it comes to applying these shadow sticks, what I like to do is work one eye at a time. These, just like the higher end brands that I mentioned earlier, they do set incredibly fast and they stay on all day. So it's a long wear product. It's a beautiful formula, especially this one from L'Oreal. So I like to go in and just kind of scribble it at the base of my lashes from inner corner to outer corner, and then immediately go in with my finger and soften that, maybe even a brush as well, whatever you feel comfortable using. And kind of blend that edge out and up towards the crease. I'm not going up towards my brow bone, but I just want to do a little wash of something on my lids so it doesn't look like there's nothing there. And I've been keeping my look pretty simple and easy, just trying to get myself ready pretty quickly. I also have a little patch of what I think is eczema right in here, so when I use a lot of powder eyeshadows, it is a little noticeable because that area is a little bit dry. So I like to use creams because it kind of helps disguise the look of that more dry, slightly more scaly look to the skin, which is like the surface of like eczema patches. And it goes right over that and it doesn't cling or look odd. Like I can just do this in a few seconds. This next step is optional based off of your mood, and if you want to wear eyeliner, you can. You can do any brand you want, but these new ones from e.l.f. are actually really great, and I think that they're $3, maybe $4, which is insane. These are the new Smoky Kohl liners, and I just chose the first one that I grabbed out of my collection. I own, I think, every shade at this point. It's the shade called Black Velvet, so I'm going to tightline a little bit with this, and I like to smudge these, and they are very workable, and they smudge really nicely, but they do stay in place. So again, just like I recommended to do one eye at a time with the shadow sticks, I would do the same with this formula. There is no shortage of mascara at the drugstore. I tell you that. You go down any single aisle at the drugstore and you're going to find tons of different options. So I went with one that I have not used in a really long time from Maybelline. This is the Falsies Lash Lift, and this is the blackest black shade. And I have not used this in such a long time, so I don't even remember if I even liked it. But Maybelline has a ton of mascaras. L'Oreal has several options. You can find some from Revlon as well. Like, the drugstores make really good mascara. There's honestly, again, no point in spending high-end money for a mascara when you can go to the drugstore and pick out so many different ones to try for the price of just one high-end mascara. So I went with this one, and I'm hoping that it's going to be a good one. So that's what the wand looks like on that. It's actually quite of a full wand with a little bit of an hourglass shape. You see how it kind of comes in the center, and then it's a little bit wider at the top and a little bit wider at the bottom. And the bristles look to be a very traditional style mascara wand. So let's do 2 coats on the top and 1 coat at the bottom. Mascara is done, and honestly I think it's a pretty good mascara. I have really nothing negative to say. It is a little bit of a larger brush, so keep that in mind. When purchasing this, I did get a little bit of a smear at the top. It's easily fixable though if you just kind of let it hang out. Once the smear dries, you could just flick it off with a brush. You can get a Q-tip. It comes right off. So don't panic. Don't try to smear it and clean it off as soon as you notice it, because you're just going to make a mess. It's going to stain your skin. It's going to smear. It's honestly going to get worse. So just let it hang out, dry. It flicks right off. So anyways, this is good. Did its job, and I'm happy with that. And I think that the eyes just look really natural, really easy. Just a little bit of color, but not too much. A little bit of definition with that liner that was kind of smoked at the base of the lashes. A good volumizing, lengthening, and separating mascara. So far, everything has been 2 thumbs up. So let's finish this look off with a lip combo. At the drugstore, you can find so many different lip liners. I do love the ones from Maybelline, the lifter liners. Those are fantastic, but I use those very often. So I decided to go to another go-to classic formula that I love, and it's from Revlon. It's part of their Colorstay line. So these are automatic twistable liners that you don't even have to sharpen. So they're great for travel, on the go, and just for someone who doesn't want to be hassling with a sharpener and have to keep track of sharpening it, keeping a nice point to it. You just twist up, go, apply, and it's done. So I chose a shade that I did not own already, and this is the shade called Blush, and I thought it would be nice, kind of like My Lips but better type shade. Again, keeping with the theme of it being just easy, effortless, just something that doesn't take a lot of work. And let me show you the swatch of that shade. So that's that blush color. Again, it's something really close to the natural tone of my lips, so let's go ahead and line with this. And this is the blush lip liner from Revlon. Honestly, I think this is quite bright for it being a light blush pink color, but honestly, with the look that we've got going on today, something a little bit brighter, just a little bit of a pop of color, actually suits the whole look and complexion because it's adding a little bit more to the face with a little bit of color in the form of a lip liner. Super easy. I kind of lined and then I filled it entirely just because I was kind of feeling this color. It's actually really, really pretty. Okay, if you saw my last video talking about some new drugstore products, I believe it was my very first video in this new house, I talked about how much I loved the new Revolution gloss sticks. I was so impressed and blown away by this formula that I went back and I bought 2 more shades. Yeah, that's right. I went back and bought 2 more shades. So I started off with Sweet Rose. That's the one that I wore in that video. And it looks like that. I'll swatch this one for you. They are an exact dupe almost to the Fenty Gloss Bomb Sticks. I feel like these are a little bit glossier. And that's what that first shade that I purchased, Sweet Rose, looks like. So I went back and I bought 2 more shades. I told you in that video I'm going to go back and buy more. And I mean what I say. So I bought 2 more shades. And this is the shade Creme Brûlée or Creme Brûlée Mauve. That's kind of a long name there. And that's what that looks like. Show you that one. Creme Brûlée Mauve there. Let's swatch this one next to the Sweet Rose. Ooh, that one has a little bit more of a plummy brown kind of depth to it. So pretty. So that's that Sweet Rose, that first one that I had, which has more pink to it. And then this one, this newer shade, is just a little bit deeper, a little bit more mauve, just a hint more brown to it. Really pretty. And again, just as creamy, just as pigmented and glossy as the first shade. And then the other shade is a shimmer shade. And this one is Sugar Cookie Pink. So it looks like that. I love the twist up, and it's going to be, I have a feeling this is going to be a good one with a little hint of color and just a little sparkle there. So again, let's do this one right across the top. This one's going to be just more sheer, like a tint of color with a little bit of a kind of sparkle to it. But the sparkle is really, really faint. So is the tint of color. It's just a little hint of peach almost. Not quite full on pigment as some of the other shades that have a little bit of a deeper color to the outside component. So the difference between this one, you'll know it, it's a white kind of creamy color component sitting right next to the other shades. The outside is supposed to match the inside, so I'm assuming that's why they chose a more white component for this one. This is gonna be great for something like today, so let's try this one on, where I have already filled in with a lip liner and I just want a little bit more moisture, a little bit of gloss, and the sparkle on this is a bit more of a golden shade. So let's go ahead and put this on. Yeah. I love the way these feel. They feel incredible. It's going to add a little bit of a peachy color. You see that? So pretty. And these do feel very luxurious. Like I said, there are, I would say, the closest dupe that I think you can find to the Fenty Gloss Bomb Sticks. So if you don't like the price point of those and you want something similar, there you go. I just saved you quite a bit of money. These are great. The Fenty ones are also amazing too. Not knocking those because I do love those. But it's also great to be able to find something similar at the drugstore. And if I really like something, I'm going to go back and buy more shades. And now I have 3. They do have a few deeper shades that are kind of not so much in my wheelhouse, so that's why I did not buy those. But I can see those looking incredible on other skin tones and just looking beautiful for the fall, for the winter. I just go to the lighter, more nude shades because that's what I feel comfortable wearing. And that shade did not disappoint with that lip liner. What do you think? The last thing to do to keep this all in place, and I should have done this before mascara and before my lip product, but it's a little too late. And you know what? Who cares? The order that we do things. We're going to use some of the Make It Last setting spray. This is the original one from Milani. This is the Natural Finish setting spray with glycerin and 2% niacinamide. And so we're going to give it a little bit of a shake, and we're going to set this face. And we are now complete. Full face done. What do you think? Tell me your thoughts. Have you tried any of these products? I am really thrilled with how this turned out. I had some classic old school formulas that I knew were going to work out, and just kind of putting them all together. It just feels great to sit down and actually use products that make you happy, make you feel beautiful. So thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to follow me for more videos like this in the future. I post every Tuesday and every Friday. I do have social media as well. Instagram and TikTok. Those are some places to find me. Obviously, you can find me here on YouTube. Come back, watch some more videos. Everything is going to be listed and linked for you down below. Happy shopping. I hope you enjoy these products. If you try anything out, thank you so much for shopping my links down below. I do earn a commission, so I want to be very transparent about that. Thank you for your love and support. It means more than you'll ever know. Take care, you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.